As the night grew colder, a girl sat on her couch holding her throw pillow tight to her chest. Mia tapped at her chin furiously as she tried to decide on what to eat for dinner. She had been staring at her phone for the past hour, scrolling through food delivery apps, but nothing seemed to catch her eye. She sighed and put her phone down, feeling defeated. Mia got up from the couch and headed to the kitchen, hoping to find something to eat there. Just then, she heard a knock on her door. She frowned, wondering who it could be at this time of the night. She walked over to the door and peered through the peephole, but she couldn't see anyone. The porch light was on, but the darkness outside made it hard to make out anything clearly. Mia hesitated for a moment before she moved away from the door, walking back into the kitchen. Mia tried to convince herself that it was just her imagination playing tricks on her. Maybe she was just tired. But deep down, she knew that something wasn't right. Mia shook her head, trying to forget about what just happened as she headed to the cupboard to grab a can of soup for dinner. As she was about to heat up the soup, she began to feel a sense of unease in the pit of her stomach. She couldn't shake the feeling that someone was watching her, and the hairs on the back of her neck stood on end. Mia noticed that one of the kitchen windows was slightly ajar, even though she was sure that she had closed and locked it earlier. Mia began to panic, realizing that someone might have broken into her house. She grabbed a knife from the kitchen counter and made her way towards the window, ready to defend herself if necessary. As she approached the window, Mia took a deep breath. Her outstretched hand trembles as she reaches to close the window. She paused as she heard her name being called in almost a deep growl. She turned around slowly, and all the hope she ever had for her safety disappeared as her eyes fell upon the figure standing a few feet away from her. The figure resembled a tall man with dark hair and dark, sunken, soulless eyes. Mia wanted to scream, but all she could muster up was a small whimper. His voice was gruff and menacing. "Why are you in my house?" Mia said in a whisper, her voice quivers as tears sting at her eyes. She feels as if this could be the last time she takes a breath of air. Mia could feel her heart pounding rapidly as the figure took a step closer. Now a scar can be clearly seen running down the side of his face and down to his neck.
"Why did you leave me?"
he said, his voice filled with anger and hurt. Mia was confused. She didn't recognize the man, and she had never left anyone. "I don't know what you're talking about," Mia rasped. Mia's legs felt like they were made of jelly, and she stumbled backwards, knocking over a chair. In a swift motion, the man lunged at her. Mia screamed, stumbling to the floor as her weapon slipped from her hand. She could take the smell of decay radiating off of him as it made her gag. She felt his cold hands gripping her throat as he squeezed tightly, cutting off her air supply. Mia struggled in the figure's grasp when she noticed the knife she had not too far away from her head. With her vision starting to blur, Mia made a desperate attempt to reach for the knife. She managed to grab it and aimed directly at his face, tugging the knife through flesh all the way down to his neck. The figure paused, caught off guard, an empty look on his face. His grip on Mia loosened, upping her chance of survival. As she focused on his face, she notices she had struck him in the same place as his scar. Memories instantly started flooding in. Months ago, she had been going through a hard time with her husband. This led her to start seeing a guy named James, who she poured her heart and soul into for a long time. That was until her relationship with her husband started to pick up, and she fell in love with her husband all over again. Mia had to break it to James that their secret relationship was over. But that was the difficult part, as she knew how close they had gotten over the time. As Mia came back to the present, staring at the now opened wound on the figure's face, she recalled the last words she said to James, making it official. "It's over, James," she said before drawing the knife deep into his face and neck, and it was not long after that he was labeled as missing throughout their town. Mia was brought back to reality as the tight grip on her neck had returned together with a sinister smile that crept upon James' face. It was useless, nothing seemed to faze him. Mia tried to fight and push away, but James was too strong. She could feel herself losing consciousness as the world around her began to fade to black.
"It's over, Mia."
was the last words Mia heard, making her regret her lethal mistake. Thanks for joining me on this journey through the depths of darkness. This story was a hauntingly beautiful one, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to my channel, and check out my other videos. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to see you again soon. Until then, stay spooked.